Welcome to our deep dive into the human brain, one of the most complex and fascinating organs in the body. We've sent spacecraft to the edge of the solar system. We've peered into the hearts of galaxies billions of light years away. But the human brain? That's still one of the biggest mysteries in the cosmos. Today we'll explore its main components and their incredible functions. We're talking about a 3-pound mass of tissue that allows us to think, to feel, to dream, to experience the universe in all its glory. It's an organ so complex, so intricate, that even after decades of research, we're only just scratching the surface of what it can do. So buckle up, get ready for a wild ride, because we're about to embark on a journey into the very essence of what makes us human. Let's unlock the mysteries of the human brain together. Let's start with the big kahuna, the cerebrum. This is the part of the brain that really steals the show when it comes to brain anatomy. This is the wrinkly, walnut-shaped structure that most people picture when they think of a brain. Its intricate folds and grooves are not just for show, they increase the surface area, allowing for a greater number of neurons and more complex brain functions. And for good reason. It's the largest part of the brain, taking up most of the space inside your skull. This massive structure is responsible for a multitude of tasks that keep us functioning and thriving every day. Now, the cerebrum is like the CEO of your body, calling all the shots. It's the command center that oversees everything from voluntary movements to complex thought processes. It's in charge of all those higher-level functions that make us uniquely human, thinking, learning, remembering, making decisions, and even composing a symphony or writing a novel. Imagine the cerebrum as the ultimate multitasker, juggling countless tasks simultaneously. And don't forget about our senses. The cerebrum processes all the information coming in from the outside world, sights, sounds, smells, tastes, textures, and uses that information to create our reality. It's like having a super advanced processing unit that interprets and integrates sensory data to help us navigate our environment. But here's the really cool part. The cerebrum is divided into two halves, called hemispheres, a left and a right. These hemispheres work together, but also have specialized functions that contribute to our overall cognitive abilities. And get this, each hemisphere controls the opposite side of the body. This cross-wiring is one of the many fascinating aspects of brain organization. So if you're right-handed, thank the left side of your brain. This lateralization of brain function is a key feature that allows for specialized processing in each hemisphere. Now let's talk about the cerebral cortex. This thin yet incredibly important layer of the cerebrum is where the magic happens. This is the outermost layer of the cerebrum, and it's where all the really interesting stuff happens. It's packed with billions of neurons that communicate through trillions of connections, making it the hub of our cognitive abilities. Think of it like the brain's supercomputer, a densely packed network of neurons that allows us to think, to perceive, to remember. It's the powerhouse that drives our thoughts, emotions, and actions. To make things a little easier, we can divide the cerebral cortex into 4 lobes, each with its own set of specialties. These lobes work together seamlessly to manage different aspects of our daily lives. We've got the frontal lobe, the parietal lobe, the temporal lobe, and the occipital lobe. Each lobe has unique functions that contribute to our overall brain activity. The frontal lobe, sitting right behind your forehead, is basically the control center for all your executive functions. It's the part of the brain that helps you plan your day, make decisions, and solve problems. It's responsible for planning, organizing, problem-solving, decision-making, and even controlling your impulses. Without the frontal lobe, our ability to function in a complex world would be severely compromised. Moving back a bit, we have the parietal lobe, which is all about processing sensory information. It's the brain's way of making sense of the physical sensations we experience. This is where your brain interprets touch, temperature, pain, pressure, and even the position of your body in space. It's like having an internal GPS and sensory dashboard all rolled into one. Next up is the temporal lobe, located right above your ears. This lobe is essential for processing auditory information and much more. This part of the brain is crucial for processing auditory information, so everything you hear gets routed through here. It's also involved in understanding language and storing memories, but it's also involved in memory, language comprehension, and even recognizing faces. The temporal lobe helps us make sense of the world through sound and memory. And finally, At the very back of your head, we have the occipital lobe, which is dedicated almost entirely to vision. It's the visual processing center of the brain. It receives visual information from your eyes and then processes that information so you can understand what you're seeing. Without the occipital lobe, our ability to interpret and respond to visual stimuli would be impossible. Now let's move down a bit from the cerebrum to a smaller but equally important structure tucked neatly beneath it, the cerebellum. Don't let its size fool you. This little guy plays a big role in how we move and interact with the world around us. Think of the cerebellum as the maestro of an orchestra, coordinating all the complex movements of your body with incredible precision and timing. It's what allows you to walk without falling over, to dance gracefully, to even type on a keyboard without looking at the keys. But the cerebellum isn't just about conscious movement, it's also constantly working behind the scenes, making tiny adjustments to your posture and balance without you even realizing it. Imagine you're riding a bike. You're not consciously thinking about pedaling, steering, and staying upright. You're just doing it. That's the cerebellum in action, taking in information from your senses and making sure all your muscles are working together in perfect harmony. And here's something really cool. The cerebellum is also involved in motor learning. Remember when you were first learning to ride that bike? It probably felt awkward and wobbly, right? But with practice, you got better and better until it became second nature. That's because your cerebellum was hard at work, forming new neural connections and fine-tuning your movements until they became smooth and effortless. So, the next time you hit a tennis ball, play a musical instrument, or simply walk down the street, take a moment to appreciate the incredible work of your cerebellum. It's the unsung hero of your brain, ensuring that you move through the world with grace, coordination, and precision. Whether you're playing a video game, where quick reflexes and precise movements are key, or cooking a meal, chopping vegetables with skill and speed, or even painting a picture where every brushstroke counts, your cerebellum is there, making sure everything you do is smooth and coordinated. So next time you perform any task, big or small, remember the cerebellum, your body's maestro of movement, working tirelessly to keep you in sync with the world around you. Now let's journey to the base of the brain, where it connects to the spinal cord, a region known as the brainstem. This area is often overlooked, but is absolutely essential for our survival. This ancient structure, often called the reptilian brain, is the most primitive part of our brain, responsible for all those automatic functions that keep us alive and kicking. It's fascinating to think that this small area has been preserved through millions of years of evolution. Think of the brainstem as the engine room of a ship, working tirelessly behind the scenes to regulate all the essential bodily functions we take for granted. Just like an engine room, it's not often seen but is crucial for the operation of the entire vessel. We're talking about breathing, heart rate, blood pressure, sleep-wake cycles, all the things that happen automatically without us even having to think about them. Imagine if you had to consciously control your heartbeat or remember to breathe. Life would be incredibly exhausting. The brainstem is divided into three main parts: the midbrain, the pons, and the medulla oblongata. Each of these parts has its own unique functions and responsibilities. Each of these parts plays a crucial role in keeping our bodies running smoothly. They work in harmony to ensure that our most vital functions are maintained without interruption. The midbrain, as its name suggests, sits right in the middle of the brainstem. It's like a central hub, coordinating various signals and ensuring that information flows efficiently. It acts like a relay station, transmitting sensory information from your body to your brain, and motor commands from your brain to your muscles. This ensures that your body can respond quickly to any changes in your environment. Moving down, we have the pons, which acts like a bridge connecting different parts of the brain. It's essential for communication within the brain. It plays a role in sleep, respiration, swallowing, bladder control, and even dreaming. Without the pons, our sleep cycles would be disrupted and many basic functions would be compromised. And finally, we reach the medulla oblongata, the workhorse of the brainstem. This part is indispensable for our survival. This vital structure controls all those autonomic functions that keep us alive, like breathing, heart rate, blood pressure, and even reflexes like coughing and sneezing. It's constantly working to ensure that our body's internal environment remains stable. So while the cerebrum might get all the glory for its role in thinking and consciousness, it's important to remember that none of that would be possible without the tireless work of the brainstem. It's the foundation upon which all higher brain functions are built. It's the unsung hero of the nervous system, keeping our bodies running smoothly 24/7. Without it, our lives would be in constant jeopardy, highlighting just how crucial this small but mighty structure truly is. Thanks for joining us on this journey through the human brain. We've explored its intricate structures, from the mighty cerebrum to the essential brainstem, and we've seen how each part works together to create the symphony of human experience. But remember, this is just the beginning of our understanding. The human brain, with its billions of neurons and trillions of connections, remains one of the most complex and enigmatic entities in the known universe. So stay curious, keep asking questions, and never stop exploring the wonders of science. Because the more we learn about the brain, the more we learn about ourselves and our place in the vast cosmic tapestry.